Okay, so today we are going to get ready to add drips to this cup that I have here. And what I'm going for is a rose gold drip on this cup. So I already mixed up, set this aside, I already mixed up the epoxy. Did pretty good with the bubbles. I'm gonna give it a quick hit. Just to get those surface ones going. And what I want on here is going to be a rose gold drip. So I have some golden pink mica powder. I mixed up about 20 ml of epoxy for two reasons. One, it's better to have more than you need than not enough of what you need, especially when you're working with a color. And two, because I had warmed up my epoxy. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I might have warmed it up a little bit too much. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking the end of a popsicle stick, and I don't want a lot of mica powder because it goes a long way. So just have that tiny little bit there. I don't know if you can see that or not. And this is another one of those things you can add more, but you can't add less. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. And I don't want this to be too overpowering, so I really think that this color is going to be fine, because I want to add a little bit of glitter into it as well. The cup has a navy blue glitter base with a little bit of rose gold glitter over it, so I want it to kind of correspond. You want to mix this up good enough that you can, it's even, but this is going to be kind of translucent, which is what I'm going for. I could add more, but I kind of like what it looks like. So I'm just going to tap a little wee bit of my glitter. Not much. Just a little wee bit. This is rose gold glitter, and I got this at Michael's. I've done some other tumblers with it, and it's very pretty. And I'm just going to mix that in as well. And once you see that that's even, what you're going to do is leave your popsicle stick in there, and make sure you can see what I have there as good as you can. Leave the popsicle stick in there, and what you want to do is just walk away for about 20 minutes. And I have a heater on over there just to give it a little bit of heat so it doesn't freeze up on me or anything, but I'm not having it real close to the heat. Once I get the drips on there and it's where it wants to be, it's not going to need heat anyhow. It's just going to need to sit to dry, but that's going to sit for a while. I'll check it at about 20 minutes and see where it's at, and then every 10 minutes thereafter, so you can see what it looks like to be ready to put on that tumbler. And you can see the bubbles come to the top and everything. This is just a perfect storm if you get it right. So we'll see in a few so we can check the consistency. So we're about 20 minutes now. I'm going to wait another 20 minutes because, as you can see, it's still very runny. And the idea is to have it just nicely drape around the top of the cup. And then what I'll do is usually to check it, it doesn't matter now because I already know it's way too thin, but you put it along the side and you can kind of tell how it falls. So obviously I know that that's going to be just falling right off the cup and get clear down and make a huge mess. So I'll check it again in 20 more minutes. Each time I check it, I do give it a decent stir. I did that before I turned the video on. So we'll see you in 20 more. Okay, so now we're at 40 minutes. Still very runny. Ooh, sorry about the blur there. I don't know why my camera's blurry, but I stirred it. You can see how runny that still is. So we're gonna go another 20 minutes. See you then. Okay, so we're about an hour and 15 minutes in. You can see that it is getting much thicker here. Still runs really fast. And when I put this up the side, you can see how fast it's running down. So we want it to barely move at all. So we will check that again. In the summertime, this tends to go faster because it's warmer out, so it cures faster. And as a result of the temperature, I did move it a little closer to the heater. but still not right dead in front of it. So we'll check it again here in 10 or 15 minutes, and when it's ready, I will let you know. So believe it or not, pulled that up there, and it's still moving very, very, not very fast, but faster than what I need it to. And you can see it's pretty thick, but see how it runs off of there? I want that to stop. So it's basically going to be a blob when we're ready to use it. Okay, so now we are a little over 2 hours in. In the summertime, this doesn't take nearly as long, but this is real stringy now. It's not falling down from the sides of the cup. I started checking it about every 5 to 10 minutes after a while there. Let me get a glove on. Okay, so, and I know I have way too much, and it would have taken less time if I didn't have as much too, so there's a lot of factors here. You see how stringy it is. Hopefully you can see how stringy it is. Let's move back a little bit here. So you want to just get kind of a blob on here. Try to get that string up off there. And you're just going to kind of drag it around and make sure it's along the top of your cup. And you just keep doing that all the way around. Now you're going to babysit this. So I'm going to be in the basement for a while here. Because if it starts to run too much, then you get back and turn it upside down for a few minutes so that the running stops. Should probably have 2 gloves on because it's up the stick, but I don't like how it feels. I can't tell what I'm doing when I have a glove on this hand as well as whenever I don't. It's messy for sure. You can see it's starting to run down now. Hopefully you're able to see what I do. I don't have the best video set up. So you can see I got a little thing there. I'm going to cover that up. It's going to run down and get together anyhow. You just don't want them to be the whole way down your cup when you're doing this. So that one, kind of clean up. Baby wipes work great for that as long as they're non-alcoholic baby wipes. Alcohol-free, I guess I should say. Usually I use the generic sensitive skin ones, and they are great to clean up mixing cups and mats for your Cricut and epoxy on your tumbler. Now one thing is, after I'm all done, this will get another layer of epoxy on the whole tumbler. So yes, you can, and honestly probably should, epoxy over your drips, but you don't have to epoxy over the drips if it's perfect before that. But I need some more love on the rest of the cup, so this was just the time for the drips to go on. So that's pretty much what I want it to do. I don't want it to be crazy drips. I just want it to have a nice little drip around the top. Baby wipes, I don't know, I just got generic Health Smart baby wipes. Alcohol-free, fragrance-free. I can wipe off my hand that didn't have a glove on with these, so they're not sticky anymore. I'm gonna find that one spot that I had the epoxy on that I didn't want it. There we go. And you can see how this is dripping now. Kind of does its own thing. No two are ever the same, no matter what you do. You just can't do that unless you use some kind of a weird template, which I'm not sure. I think you like them random. And I might add more here in a couple minutes, just depending on how I think it looks. After they start to drip, I might want another drip in between or something. But it is important to get them up to the top of the rim, because otherwise you end up with your drip and then blank space at the top of the rim. So you want to make sure that you're doing that right. And just because I have this in my hand, I know sometimes it gets inside the cup, I'm going to give a quick and careful wipe around the inside of the cup, which you can scrape off later with your epoxy or with your X-Acto knife. Now, the reason I said I'm going to babysit this is because sometimes those drips will start to go down a lot further than I want them to. I'm not sure that that's going to be the case here, but when I was making cocoa cups for the wintertime for Santa, I didn't want them to go over my decal. And this one, my decal's at the bottom, so if this runs down a little further, it's fine. I did some that were Freddy Krueger, some Halloween things that had blood drips. I didn't want them to go over top of my design. And I do keep a straight pin handy, just in case I see a bubble. I can give that a little poke. It's impossible to not have bubbles, I think, when you're doing something like this, because it's so thick you can't really get rid of them all. Just be careful that doesn't go down, that it goes up. It'll blend itself in. And now we're just at a waiting game. I'm going to keep you with me. See, it looks pretty good. Sort of what I was going for. Might want to fill in a few more here and there, so I think I'm going to kind of do that. And since I have so much epoxy on that stick, I'm going to add another glove, because I don't want it on my hand. I don't like how it feels on my hand. The important part is done now, the biggest pieces, but I don't necessarily like how some of these are so far apart. It's getting thicker by the minute, especially since there's less in the cup now. So just add a little bit here and there. Believe it or not, that will get down where you want it to be. Messing with it, because sometimes less is more. So they're starting to run now, the new blobs. Give it a few minutes. See where we're at. You definitely want them to blend in when you add extra ones on there, and they will. It just seems like it's taking forever, but it's not. And of course, after this dries for 6 or 8 hours, and before I do put my next coat of epoxy on, I will 100% wash this cup to make sure there are no oils from the baby wipes or anything on there. I used Dawn to wash them. I used to do alcohol, but then I felt like I got a lot of fish eyes, things I didn't want. I'm pretty happy with how these drips are turning out. Just, I'm going to keep turning it around, but I want you to really see what it's doing. This is exactly the look I was going for. If they started to go down too far, what I would do is just hold it upside down for, 2 or 3 minutes, and they kind of run back up, and then turn it back over, and they'll start to run again. So that took me about 10 minutes, 9 or 10 minutes to do the actual drip part on there, once I had it ready to go. So basically it's just a waiting game now, and we'll be back to show you the end result. So I just wanted to kind of show you where we're at here. I'm going to consider this done because all it has to do is dry now. I did upside down and right side up a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me. But there we go. Had this had a decal on it, I still would have waited a little bit before I put that on there. But being what it is, and had no decal in the middle, that's why I wanted it to do what it did. Thanks for watching.